The Brown Fairy Book. Preface. The stories in this fairy book come from all quarters of the world. For example, the adventurers of Bull Carrier and the Bad One are told by Red Indian grandmothers to Red Indian children who never go to school nor see pen and ink. The Bunyip is known to even more uneducated little ones, running about with no clothes on at all in the bush in Australia. You may see photographs of these merry little blackfellows before their troubles began in Northern Races of Central Australia by Mrs. Spencer and Gillen. They have no lessons except in tracking and catching birds, beasts, fishes, lizards, and snakes, all of which they eat. But when they grow up to be big boys and girls, they are cruelly cut out about themselves with stone knives and frightened with sham bogies, all for their own good, their parents say, and I think they would rather go to school if they had their choice, and take their chance of being birched and bullied. However, many boys think it better fun to begin to learn hunting as soon as they can walk. Other stories, like The Sacred Milk of Kalmanyago, come from the Kaffirs of Africa, whose dear papas are not so poor as those in Australia, but have plenty of cattle and milk and good mealies to eat, and live in houses like very big beehives, and wear clothes of a sort, though not very much like our own. Peavy and Cabo is a tale from the brown people in the island of New Caledonia, where a boy is never allowed to speak or even to look at his own sisters. Nobody knows why, so curious are the manners of this remote island. The story shows the advantages of good manners and pleasant behavior, and do not now cook and eat each other, but live on fish, vegetables, pork, and chickens, and dwell in houses. What the Rose Did to the Cypress is a story from Persia, where the people, of course, are civilized, and much like those of whom you read in the Arabian Nights. Then there are tales like The Fox and the Lap from the very north of Europe, where it is dark half the year and daylight for the other half. The Laps are a people not fond of soap and water, and very much given to art magic. Then there are the tales from India, told to Major Campbell, who wrote them down, by Hindus. These stories, Wali Dad the Simple-Hearted, and the king who would be stronger than fate, but was not so clever as his daughter. From Brazil and South America comes The Tortoise and the Mischievous Monkey, with the adventures of other animals. Other tales are told in various parts of Europe, and in all languages, and by all people. Black, white, brown, red, and yellow are like each other when they tell stories, for these are meant for children who like the same sort of thing, whether they go to school and wear clothes, or, on the other hand, wear skins of beasts, or even nothing at all, and live on grubs and lizards and hawks and corn and serpents, like the little Australian blacks. The tale of What the Rose Did to the Cypress is translated out of a Persian manuscript by Mrs. Beveridge. Pivo and Cabo is translated by the editor from the French version, Asmund and Signy by Miss Blackley, the Indian stories by Major Campbell, and all the rest are told by Mrs. Ling, who does not give them exactly as they are told by all sorts of outlandish natives, but makes them up and hope white people will like them, skipping the pieces which they will not like. That is how this fairy book was made up for your entertainment.